Isaiah 7 verse 14, the prophet declares, "Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." You and I today know that that name Emmanuel means God with us. But what we may not know or realize or remember is that it was 700 years before the fulfillment, the true fulfillment of this scripture. 700 years before that, the prophet Isaiah, he speaks into a situation where Judah as a nation were in trouble. Ahaz is the king. Judah is the nation. They are under threat of attack. They are intimidated. They are fearful. They are concerned because they find themselves in trouble and they want to know, what is God going to do about it? And God sends them this prophecy through the prophet Isaiah to say, God is with us. God is sending his sign to say he's with us. And of course, it's trouble where God really manifests his glory. And 700 years later, that scripture is ultimately fulfilled in Jesus, the coming King. As Jewish people, the nation, were under oppression, the Roman oppression, the despotic, narcissistic leadership of the Roman Empire causing oppression to these people. Their existential plight is problematic. They struggle, they're suffering, and yet in the midst of their struggle and suffering, yet again, we hear the echoes coming through, the fulfillment of that scripture that was given, that prophecy given by Isaiah, that God is sending his son and his name will be called Emmanuel, God with us. In the midst of trouble, God is not surprised by trouble. God is not intimidated by trouble. The pandemic, the difficulty we faced during 2020, God is not intimidated by that, and he is not distant. He is not divided from his people. He is not distant from his people, and he is not indifferent. God is with us. It's in the midst of trouble that we often find God manifesting his glory by comforting us, helping us, because whatever he does not deliver us from, he comforts us in. I want to join with David when he said, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." Why? Because God is with us. Thou art with me. And this is what I want you to remember in this season, that Jesus' arrival, Jesus' coming to us, lets us know that even though you may be facing difficulty right now, even though we are all going through a struggled kind of time, let's be real. The truth is we can hold on to God because God's ultimate goal is to be with us. The question we have to ask ourselves is, even though Emmanuel, God is with us, am I truly realizing that I need to spend time with him? Anytime you're in trouble, remember, Emmanuel, God is with us.